Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back for another video. Today we're going to be talking about Superman Lois episode 5. No surprise here, another great episode and just the things that they're doing with it. It was another interesting episode in the sense that this episode we got a lot of backstory for Lex. We got a lot of flashbacks revolving around what exactly led to the relationship that he formed with his daughter, how it went south other than the fact that he went to jail, the crumbling of his marriage and just how that was all kind of a contributing factor, and just a couple other surprises too, just a couple things I didn't see coming involving Lois, but it was a great episode. And I mean, there's really not much to tell other than the fact we kind of go back and forth between present day and past, telling the story of how Lex's relationship with his daughter just kind of deteriorated over time just because he was in this never-ending cycle of anger and going after people that have wronged him or obsessing over things instead of focusing on the things that mattered there at home with his wife and with his daughter, trying to form that relationship, trying to maintain that relationship, but instead just being so distracted by the outside world and the people, like I mentioned, that had done him wrong and the things that he obsessed over, because Superman had been an enemy of his for so long. And then this story come out where he's being accused of murdering people, and Lois is going after him, and he just swears up and down it never happened. This is just how they perceived everything at that time, where the evidence just suggested otherwise. So I guess I'm just going to avoid, for the most part, doing a play-by-play, because there's really not much you can do in the sense of that with this particular episode, because the episode is kind of all over the place, but it's kind of focused in one area too, which is Lex and his daughter's relationship. Lois going after her to bring her into the picture to try to repair that relationship so that Lex doesn't pose a threat to her family, to Clark anymore, because it's been made known to the world that Superman is alive, and so they're just very fearful that Lex is going to come after them. He's going to send Doomsday after him again, and that's kind of, I guess, where the episode kind of takes a strange direction, or a direction I didn't see coming. Like, I always imagined Lois being hard-headed as she is, being stubborn as she is, that she was not going to basically take shit from anyone, no matter who it was. She would back down if it were necessary, I guess, or just she realized that she didn't have any other choice. But she realized something as Clark is trying to figure out what to do, because he knows that the world is going to know, and he knows that Lex is going to know that he's back, and that the danger is there, that they could send Doomsday after him again, and just he's not remotely 100% at all. He's not who he was, and it's just kind of one of the big factors there with this transplant heart that he got from Sam Lane, that he may never be 100% ever again. And so they have that big fear factor, I guess, there, where he could possibly end up dead again, and this time it may be permanent. And so Clark goes to his mother at the fortress, trying to figure out where they went wrong, where Doomsday weaknesses could lie, and just Clark's telling her that I don't think he has any weaknesses. I don't think I can beat him, because every time that I did kill him, he just came back stronger and more furious, and just playing that fight back in his head, and also kind of going over it with his mother, and him just, I think for the first time in his life, being actually kind of scared. And so he doesn't know how to handle this. And so he's kind of discussing this with Lois, just saying now he used to be another version of Superman. He used to be me. And Lois kind of gets in her head, well, this kind of gives her an idea. And between all these flashbacks, between Lex and his daughter Elizabeth trying to rekindle their relationship, and all in all, it turns out to be a failure, because she makes the trip home. She makes the effort to reconnect with him and trying to get him to understand that she wants him to be a part of her life, and more so because she is pregnant with his grandchild, but she is very reluctant to let him back in her life, because she left for a reason, because he was just stuck in this cycle of anger and resentment and just kind of being power hungry and whatnot. And she's trying to get him to understand, you can't be like this and be a part of my life. It just won't happen, and she won't have it. And so they're having this conversation, but it all comes down to the fact that he's not willing to walk away from the fact that he thinks that Lois and Clark and their family need to pay for stealing 17 years of his life. And it just goes downhill from there. She decides, well, if you can't let this go, you can't be in my life. And that's what it comes down to. She walks away from him. He comes back outside, because they'd been in this diner, and he comes back outside. And this is after Clark has tried to get her to have this relationship with him, because initially she does walk away with very little conversation to begin with. Clark convinces her to go back in there. They actually sit down, they have a conversation, and trying to find out where everything went wrong. But it just comes down to the fact that Lex is very angry and very vindictive. He does not want to let people get away with hurting him or hurting his family or whatever, even though he could direct that energy to repair his relationship with his daughter. So ultimately, it ends up with her walking away, saying she tried, and she did. And Lex comes back outside. Larks comes out of the Daily Planet, which is across the street from this diner. And Lex doesn't really say anything. He just stares him down and walks away. And this is where you can tell that Lex has made his decision that he's still going to go after Superman. He's still going to make him pay, make his family pay for destroying his life, for taking all these years away from him and putting him in prison and everything. So we can see that Lex is just, he's not willing to change. He's wanting to see Superman pay for what he believes is just all of his problems. All his problems started the day that Superman came into his life. It wasn't like he wasn't a criminal beforehand. And this is something that his daughter kind of brings to his attention, that you're always blaming other people instead of taking that responsibility and just letting things go. And so we're in for quite the big fight, and I'm excited to see how it plays out, because we know that Lex is going to get his hands on that exoskeleton flight suit of John Henry's. And so I'm ready to see how that goes down, and just the limitations that Superman is facing right now, and his kids. And not only that, with his children, you have Jonathan going off and doing all the hero stuff, taking Lois here and there, and it's damaged his relationship with his girlfriend after she took time to come see him. And then you got Jordan just kind of standing there on the sidelines because he's got kind of stage fright, or he's kind of shell-shocked at this point. He doesn't want to do anything with that hero stuff because of his failure to get Superman's original heart. And I guess the big thing with this episode is the approach that they took with Lois realizing that yes, Doomsday is a monster, but he was a version of Clark in another world, and they were together in that world. So she tries to appeal to the humanity in him and the fact that they did have a relationship on this alternate Earth. And she summons Doomsday with the little device that Sam would carry around to summon Superman. And he does show up, and she just has this heart-to-heart with him, saying, please don't come after my family. Please see that this isn't the only choice, that Lex doesn't control you, and we were together in this other world, and I know that you still care and all that. And I mean, kind of without saying a word, he says it all with his eyes, and then he just flies away. So I'm excited to see how that plays out, because Lex does find out that he does go missing. So it was definitely a different approach to go after Doomsday, to appeal to the humanity that's still buried deep within him, even though that he has died multiple times and he keeps mutating into this monster. And she was able to reach that part of him and make him reflect on the relationship that he had with her other version in this other world, and his family, and the things that he's lost, and just really trying to reach deep down and see that he is still there. He is still this version of Clark. And so it was a very, I guess, touching kind of moment, and it's definitely something I didn't see coming. And I really enjoyed that part of it, and seeing that there is another way to go about it rather than just with blind fury and everything. But I'm still hoping, and I think I have seen some concept art, I guess, where we're going to see the boys suit up, and they're going to go throw down, probably with this, or probably with Lex maybe, after he gets that suit. So I'm waiting to see how that plays out, how Doomsday is going to factor into this from here on out. Is he going to kind of hold true to, I guess, his lack of words, but just the kind of agreement there that he had with Lois, and just how they're going to play out the rest of the season? Because at this point, we are at the halfway point. We have 5 episodes left in this show, and then it's gone. The CW's changed forever, and the big superhero era of the last 20 years is over. And along with that too, just the era of the CW is done, and all these amazing shows that we've had for so long, and now they're just going to be done and over with, and this network's going to be no more. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the review. If you did, please be sure to leave a like, leave a comment, share, subscribe. I'd really appreciate it, and I will see you next time. So take care. Bye.